Joining me now is my panel, Nadia Brown. She's an associate professor of political science at Purdue University. And I'm joined by Avis Jones-DeWeaver. She's a political and social commentator. And Anita McBride, former chief of staff to Laura Bush and executive in residence at American University School of Public Affairs. Good morning to all of you. Great to see you.
Good morning.
So the president seems to be taking a scorched earth approach to his final weeks in office. Nadia, why fire Chris Krebs?
Because the president requires loyalty and from everyone in his staff. And he believes that loyalty should be to him and not to the Constitution. So this is an anti-democratic practice at its core.
Avis, what is Trump trying to do with this announcement? And do you expect that there will be more firings?
Well, there may be. For people who are actually truthful, they will be fired. For people who want to collude along with this dictator-in-chief, in terms of hiding the truth about the legitimacy of the next election, they will maintain their position. That is the bargain that he has made very publicly. And so, really what he's trying to do is he wants to continue his 74-year-old temper tantrum by continuing to lie about the legitimacy of this past election. For reasons that, I don't know. And I do wonder if there aren't just bruised feelings. I really want to know, what is he taking this extra time to do? What is he taking this extra time to hide? What is he afraid of in terms of letting President-elect Biden have intelligence briefings? Are there things that he knows that our intelligence agencies know about him that he wants to delay getting into the purview of President-elect Biden? I think that there is more here than just bruised feelings. I really think there are more insidious things afoot, and we need to pay attention to that.
Things that he doesn't want public. Anita, what do you think about that? And I also wanted to ask you if you feel disappointed in Republicans who are kowtowing to the president right now.
Well, I have to say, honestly, I missed the initial question. Somehow I was on with The View, the program The View. So I came in at the end of Avis's conversation there. I'm assuming we're talking about the president's reluctance to accept what the inevitable outcome is of the election and the firing of Chris Krebs at Homeland Security. I think people should be disappointed in his behavior. Listen, I think all of us should want to know that our elections are accurate, free, fair, accessible, and appropriately handled. And if there were some issues with the election, those should be investigated. But it is not going to change the outcome. And the Republicans need to accept that. And I think by and large, a lot of them do, but clearly we've seen some examples of, like Senator Graham, that's not going to play well for him.
Well, no, and let's talk a little bit more about that, Anita, because a lot of people are disappointed. Not everybody, but a lot are disappointed in those Republicans who are not standing up to the president and giving him that reality check and saying it is time to move on. It is part of our tradition to have a peaceful transition. So how will history judge those people? And what happens to those people after January 20th?
Well, those who are, serving in elective office will continue to serve in elective office. And I think part of what is on their minds as well is the 73 million people that voted for Donald Trump. And perhaps they feel they're being spokesmen or spokeswomen for them as well as for the president. But I think there is a big question still, too, for the Republican Party. What role will Donald Trump play after January 20th and his impact and influence on the party? That really remains to be seen.
Nadia, Anita raises a good point, and it's a question that a lot of people have asked. Is President Trump going to sort of be some shadow president? He's going to be some sort of unofficial opposition. What do you expect to hear from him? And what role does the media play in creating legitimacy or not for President Trump once he leaves office?
Well, I think President Trump, well, he's already said he doesn't have any plans to concede. So this is not me pondering here. But the Republicans Party failure to stand up to our democratic norms, to say that there is really no chance that after this election is certified, that President Trump will remain in power after January 20th is problematic. I think that he is unfortunately holding the Republican Party hostage. And if there is to become a new breath or to learn from this election loss, it won't be had if Donald Trump and his followers, particularly his family and those that are using the media to make appeals for him, still have the nation's ear. What I would prefer is what we saw when Mitt Romney lost. He graciously, admitted that Obama had won, and he vowed to work with the party to advance conservative issues and interests within government. What we have now is a fraction of the Republican Party that is beholden to Trumpism and conservative values, and sometimes those two don't mix. And what this means is that there might not be a clear direction for who this party will be and how they'll be able to win elections in 2022, and then ultimately, if they seek a new candidate for the presidency in 2024.
Avis, what is the impact of President Trump creating this narrative that the election was stolen from him? I keep thinking about the whole birther movement and how that just took off and just became this huge conspiracy theory. Is that what we're looking at once again? Another conspiracy theory that takes on a life of its own?
Absolutely. That's what he tries. That's what he does. I mean, he peddles in lies and fiction. That's the only way in which he is able to live, right? Because he doesn't have any mastery of facts or any bit of ability to actually govern. That's clearly true. But I want to go back to your previous question. If I were to write a book about how the Republicans are behaving right now, I would call it Profiles in Cowardice. This is absolutely ridiculous. They have let this man perform a hostile takeover of their political party. And what do? They bow in a corner and put their thumbs in their mouths like cowards. And while no one is standing up for American people, today we just crossed the threshold of 250,000 people dead because we have a president who has not actually attended any sort of briefings on the COVID crisis in months. We have a president who has decided he wants to whine all day on Twitter, weaving lies to his minions and golf instead of doing anything to save people's lives. And we have a Republican Party that have decided that they want to go along with his lives instead of protect the people who have elected them to their offices. It is exactly cowardice. It is evil, in fact, to put your own political survival, because that's what it is. I do believe they're afraid of his 73 million minions. But I thought this was public service. I thought they're supposed to be doing what's best for America. What they're doing is what's best for them to potentially get elected if they subjugate themselves to this man. And be damned, the 250,000 people who have died already, and over 100,000 more. It's projected that at this rate, by January, we could be at an additional 200,000 people dead because of this man's lack of action on this issue. It is a shame. It is really criminal that you have a president and an entire political party that is allowing their political fortunes to override their concerns over and above the life of the citizens over which they govern. It's disgusting.
Avis, Nadia, Anita, thank you so much. I'm out of time for today, but we'll see you again next week.